Welcome to the Ego versus EQ and You podcast, where we discuss the key aspects of emotional intelligence and ways to apply it in everyday living. Now let's work together to make common sense more common. Welcome back to the podcast. I'm your host, Jen Shirkani, and I am thrilled to be joined in studio with my co-host, Steve Friedlein. Welcome back, Steve.
Wow, thank you very much, Jen. Good to be
Always
here.
good to have you.
Yes.
And we had, in season 2, done a whole versus series where we kind of compared and contrasted two concepts that work together. And I thought we could continue that series today. And I wanted to talk about courage versus compliance.
That is a contrast.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm feeling like I could go with the compliant in some of my commentary.
Okay.
Not that I might necessarily agree with all of what comes out from my thoughts,
Mm-hmm.
but I think to just make it a little more interesting, if you go with the courage side,
Mm-hmm.
we might have some interesting dialogue about the benefits of each and perhaps the challenges of each.
Yeah, I could see an upside in both approaches.
Really?
Yeah, and I mean, courage for me is somebody who's assertive,
Yeah.
willing to speak up and say something that may not be popular, but is necessary for someone else to hear.
Okay.
If I'm in the workplace, courage might be defending my team or protecting my team if I feel like there's unfair criticism of them. Courage might be trying something new or different that feels really risky.
Okay.
You know, I'm out there. I'm at the front line. I'm sticking my neck out.
You know,
and sometimes
Jen,
I'm the only one.
Yeah, you build a good case.
Okay.
But compliance isn't a bad thing. And I think about the fact that I like to follow procedures. I like to follow guidelines. I like to stay within the perimeter of what I know is going to work, what's tried and true. And yeah, I can see courage on occasion, but the fact is it's important to me to not step too far out of what's comfortable for me, because sometimes it ends up backfiring. Sometimes I'm encouraged to be courageous.
Mm-hmm.
No accidental pun there. But at the same time, it hasn't always worked out for me. So I tend to stick back with the compliant piece. And I'm that guy that gets the work done. You can count on me. I'm not going to jump through hoops, but I'm not going to jump in a direction that's inconsistent with where people need me to be.
But you mentioned comfort.
Yes.
And when we are comfortable, we get complacent. When we are not challenging the status quo, things don't improve. So with compliance can come stagnancy and a lack of innovation and too much of the same.
I can see where that's true. I have to reflect, though, on times when I've been encouraged to be more forthright, to really step out there. And it's as though the person I'm talking with wants me to go there, and yet when I become someone that's a little different from what they expect, I'm basically feeling as though they're asking me to get back in my little box. Okay? So I want to try new things. I want to speak out in situations where I would normally sit back. But there's that anticipation of how it's going to be reflected by the person that sees that other side of me that's not typical.
Mm-hmm. Well, and I get that there is risk in being courageous. I get that. And maybe how much risk someone's willing to take is a variant here.
Well, I have to be honest. I think there's a risk in being compliant.
Oh.
Okay? If you think about that for a minute, if people see me consistently in that compliant mode, there's an expectation that I'm not going to come up with the new ideas, that I'm not going to speak out in a situation where they know I have an opinion, but I've kept it to myself. And so it kind of brings in that authenticity piece if you think about it.
Yeah.
Okay, am I being true to myself as well as true to my team or other people I'm interacting with? So I do feel that, yes, I have to admit, there's a risk to being compliant if it's the only way I know how to function.
Well, I also worry about the person who's just going along to get along.
Yeah.
And then, you know, on the other side, I think somebody who's very courageous can also be quite disruptive.
Yes. Well, and the going along to get along might go just so far. And then at some point, there's a breaking point. And maybe it's the stress that led that compliant person to suddenly become courageous. And instead of it being courageous, now it seems like an outburst.
Oh, yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That, okay, I've gone along to get along, and you've pushed
then,
your limit, and now I can't take it anymore.
Yeah. So now it's confrontational, maybe, rather than courageous.
Yes.
That can happen. I see that.
Yeah.
So being courageous, you have to be very diplomatic because it could be very offensive or disruptive to somebody. And it's easy to sort of justify being courageous, but I think it has to be done diplomatically.
Right. And it's not an all or nothing thing. Okay. I think there's as much danger to being courageous all the time as there is to being compliant all the time. And so if I'm wanting to adapt my behaviors a bit, I might be courageous in a situation where the risk is a little less intense versus jumping into something that's totally out in left field for me.
Well, I think it really goes back to what we say a lot about the comfort zone and emotional intelligence.
Yeah.
And if I'm not careful, whichever side of this I'm on, that I gravitate to, I have the risk of overusing it and overdoing it, which can then hurt me.
Yeah. You know, I always say I admire courage. I look at people that are willing to try and who do things that I find amazing sometimes. And yet it's not everyone who's courageous. I mean, it's done in a way that is meaningful to them as well as the people around them. And so, too much of any good thing.
Right. Too much of any good thing.
We're back to that.
Yeah, because I could see ego playing in with somebody who's very compliant or asking others to be compliant. If ego is too high, then I'm doing it as a way to micromanage you, right? I'm doing it as a way to prevent what I think could be a scandal, or you could do something that could embarrass me or make me look bad.
Right.
And so I'm demanding compliance from somebody.
Yes.
That's too much ego,
Yes.
not enough EQ. But if I also have so much ego that I'm so courageous all the time, my opinion is the only one that matters.
Right.
And you people are just not brave enough to speak up like I am to mom. That can also appear as a lot of ego, that I'm the only one here that's doing the hard work in some ways.
So am I being courageous in self-promotion?
Right.
Versus based on the needs of the people I'm interacting with? Is it simply the show?
Right.
That is bringing
That's
out...
how it could look.
Exactly. Exactly.
But we defend it as, I'm being courageous here.
Right.
I'm saying things that people need to hear, but no one else is brave enough to say.
Right. Well, I think there's defensiveness on both sides potentially. If I'm compliant, I will defend that compliance because I don't want to say something that might be misinterpreted. I don't want to put myself out there and then be told, not so much. So there's a bit of defense, I think, that goes with that compliance if I do it on a regular basis.
Yes. But do you think there's a certain leadership style that's better? If I tend to be a little bit more of a courageous leader versus a compliant leader, what do you think is better? And it could be a leader in a company, a leader in a department, a leader in a family. If that's just my approach to the world, which one's better?
I think you need a combination, honestly, of both.
I know. I lean a little more to the courageous side, to be honest with you.
Well, and I perhaps lean the other way. But I think we need a little bit of both because I think when I look at situations where we've been together, there are times that I've kind of reined you in a little bit, and you've kind of pushed me out of the nest.
Yep. Yep. Well, yeah, because I think with any negotiation, whatever it is, you need to have a little of both.
Right.
And sometimes it is helpful to have someone else on your team
Right.
or in the family with you or a friend
Yes.
that is more on the other side than you are.
Yes.
So you kind of
Yes.
balance each other out.
Yes. I remember early on in my career, I'd been in a management training position and was being moved to a supervisory management position. And the person in authority said, we're going to find out what you're really made of, because you tend to be that person who's very empathic and very understanding. But I want to know if you are going to be courageous enough to make the difficult
Hard
decisions when it comes to that level of responsibility. And so maybe that's part of my defensiveness, because I did succeed.
Yes.
And I did make some adaptations, but I didn't go so far away from who I was that people were wondering what happened to you.
You're fake now.
Yeah,
You look
yeah,
fake.
yes, exactly.
Yeah. So I think it is, one, I guess, recognizing your own preference on which side of the scale you might be on, right? If you tend to be a little bit more on the courageous side or more on the compliant side. And then situationally look for opportunities to lean over to the other side a little bit more.
Yes.
If you're courageous, maybe pull back a tiny bit. If you're compliant, step up a little bit.
Yes. And that emotional expression plays in a lot there too, in terms of how I express myself when I am bringing that courage out in the open. How people are going to respond. Am I being driven by stress, or am I being driven by objectivity? And I think those things definitely play a big role in terms of not only how it's interpreted, but whether I choose to venture more into that behavior that's inconsistent with what comes naturally for me.
Well, that emotional expression to me also provides a little transparency.
Yes.
Because if people don't question my motive behind why I might be courageous or compliant right now, I might have a better shot at looking authentic, being authentic and having trust.
Right.
Versus them questioning, why is Steve suddenly challenging this right now? Or why is he suddenly going along with this so quietly?
Yep. And we were talking earlier today, I think we also have to consider, am I relationship focused or am I process focused when I'm being courageous? Am I willing to take a chance on maybe challenging that relationship a little bit if that's my focus? Or if I'm process related, am I overlooking the relationships and pushing ahead courageously on process without regard for the people?
Yeah,
so,
style really plays a part in that. Communication style.
Yes.
Wow. Okay, well,
all right.
I think you've said your piece on this.
I feel I'm a little less compliant now.
A little less compliant. Good. I'm a little less courageous. So
there we go.
We met in the middle. All right. Well, thank you for listening to the episode today. Hopefully you got some of your own thoughts on this, and we'd love to hear them. To share any show ideas or topics for future episodes, or if you need help with a challenging situation, anonymous help, feel free to reach out to us. The email is podcasts@jenshirkani.com, and you can also catch us on YouTube and all of your podcast channels. Thanks for listening. Thanks for joining us today on the Ego versus EQ and You podcast. If you liked this episode, be sure to follow us or subscribe on your favorite podcast platform, and please share our show with others. For questions or future topic suggestions, please email us at podcast@jenshirkani.com. Until next time, keep using your EQ and show ego who's boss.